Italy, 1943. Behind enemy lines. Timing is everything. There's a time to be stealthy, and a time to be lethal. A time to go low, and a time to go high. A time to strike, and a time to move. Timing is everything.
Alright gamers, geeks, and other delinquents from the outer realms, it's time for the Gamers in Beta podcast with Captain Mike M.
That is a travesty of the highest order I've ever fucking seen one.
Featuring assorted co-hosts, JManiac17.
The fuck was that all about?
Corey Atwood.
It's not my fault you guys all have shitty taste.
Sean Quicksilver, 3355.
Well, maybe you should look it up.
And Joe State.
That game sucks, dude.
Made myself vomit is we were in college, and when you do fucking stupid college shit, like a buddy of mine was just fucking around the whole time we were eating lunch, and he had like a cup of just a small cup of like Mountain Dew, and he was just pouring salt into it. Just I don't know why, just pouring a bunch of salt. So there was like a fourth of this cup just had salt sitting in the bottom of it, and he dared me to drink it. So like a fucking idiot, I did, and I don't even remember if there was money on the line or anything, but I did it, and then I had to go to work right afterwards. I worked in like the game room. So we go our separate ways. I go to work, and my heart, like my chest, just fucking hurts. And I feel like I'm having a heart attack. Like my chest is just so tight. And I'm like, I get scared, and I'm like, I have to vomit this up. I didn't even feel nauseous, but I was like, I have to vomit this up. I'm really scared. So people are playing pool. I work in like the pool hall. And I go into the back room, and I'm like, okay, I got to throw up. So I go into the back room, and I have a garbage can, and I didn't know how to make myself throw up. So I punched myself in the stomach until I threw up. Like,
what the hell?
It worked. I wailed myself like 4 times. I'm like, oh, yeah, that last one was really bad. And then it just all came up, and I puked up a ton of like salty Mountain Dew. It was terrible.
Well, with that, welcome to episode 190 of the Gamers in Beta podcast. This is Captain Mike M. And it sounds like, Corey, you have passed whatever sickness that has been plaguing you the last couple of weeks. Welcome back.
Yes, absolutely. And I will drink to that, as I'm doing right now, to celebrate my stomach being back in working order.
And
Delicious.
Jay, you're feeling okay today?
I am feeling better, yes. Yeah.
Right.
I finally got rid of all that nasty shit.
So no Joe tonight and no Sean. They're off doing other things. But we will carry on without them. This is almost the calm before the storm, right? So I posted this on PlayStation, the community last night, that pretty soon we're going to be coming up on the Nintendo Switch release. The weekend after that is PAX East and all the fun that comes with that. And in the meantime, all these game releases will be sprinkled in amongst those weeks. And then we're closing in on 200 episodes. So it is going to be some busy times here coming up. And this week and next week, it's just a little bit light on news, but we will carry on and try to make it as entertaining as possible. As you can tell by the open.
I'm back to talk about all my bodily excretions, so I'm glad to be back to talk about that.
Yes. One thing I want to talk about off the top, if you guys remember last E3, Jay, specifically, I think one of your most anticipated games from E3 of 2016 was Ghost Recon Wildlands.
Yes.
If you remember that conversation. Mm-hmm. And so they just announced that their open beta is next weekend, which is, I guess, probably a weekend or two before the game actually comes out. And I don't think Ghost Recon Wildlands is exclusive to this, but sometimes a game goes into beta, open, closed, alpha, etc., and it does more harm than good. I'm looking at you, Evolve, and I was worried about that with For Honor, that we was going to get the burnout, but we'll get to that later when we talk about what we've been playing. Certainly the Division had, these are all Ubisoft games as well with the exception of Evolve, but, Division had a prolonged alpha and beta as well, but it seems to me there was a lot of hype at E3 and people really had this game on their radar, Ghost Recon Wildlands, and just that little glimpse that people got to play. Some people are not so hot to trot on the game anymore. And I know, Jay, you said you were disappointed with the driving. And I would say, why the hell are you driving in people's backyards and cemeteries? But that's a different story. So the beta is coming up next week. And I believe it's going to be a different mission this time around. Something you're going to be playing, Jay, and specifically, if you are, what are you looking for to sort of turn the page and consider this game and maybe get back to where you were at E3?
Well, from what I've seen so far, my expectations have been tempered. So I am definitely going to try this beta. I'm hoping to get in and play with some friends to see if that is maybe the key to making it more interesting. My issue with the driving was that, you could be in a vehicle and get separated from your friends, and if you're playing with co-op partners, then they got to try and catch back up with you. And it was kind of, it was very arcadey driving, which I didn't expect because I've played in Far Cry 4. The driving was not terrible, or my opinion is it was terrible driving, especially compared to what we had in Far Cry 4.
Well, Far Cry 4, didn't most people just put it to auto drive and then look at their phone and check their Twitter feed until they got to the point? That's what I did in Far Cry.
More responsive than you think.
Right. You could launch a car, Jeep, or whatnot in Far Cry 4, but it would receive damage and explode if you really, launched it off a big cliff. In Wildlands, you could launch it off just about anything, and it didn't take any damage. Took no damage, and that kind of did it for me.
I feel like if you're at a Chinese food buffet and we're complaining about the water, but the food is excellent, that's like it's sort of like off the mark. How many people are playing Ghost Recon Wildlands for the driving? Well,
it was the driving. It was, the running around in the playing part. It just seemed like instead of, having to take the roads and get there, and then you're kind of taking a roundabout way, and, you kind of go through and you run into like a little village that you got to go through, and it's got bad guys in it. So you got to kind of clear that out before you go to the next, to get to your objective.
Yep.
That was all really cartoony, arcadey compared to Far Cry or anything like that they have out, or Division or anything like that. I was expecting you're in the jungles instead of being in the city like you are in Division. You're in the jungles, playing more like Far Cry, but with multiplayer. So I was kind of expecting, they're gonna, you're gonna get a meld of the two, and we didn't. Again, it was a closed beta. And, that was a beta. So, that's why I'm really interested to see the open beta here that's coming out. And also I did not get a chance to play with friends. I'm hoping that I have that opportunity this time because I really do want to give this a fair shake. But,
To play devil's advocate, though, too, like it's supposed to be a big open world, right? So won't driving actually be a way bigger part of this than a typical Tom Clancy game? Like, is there fast travel at all or no?
You know, to me, I think...
I don't know about the fast travel.
I mean, the driving, to me, in open world games is always a drag. Is always something, whether it's GTA, Mafia 3... You know, to me, it's always like I'd rather fast travel. I mean, Witcher 3, you get on the horse, but how many, you know, after a while, I just fast traveled, right?
Oh, well, that was Roach. Fuck Roach. Yeah. Jesus Christ.
But it didn't seem like there was fast travel in this. I mean, you had to travel to your objective.
There was you could go to fast travel to points.
Oh, could you? Okay, I didn't realize
once
that.
you unlocked them and things like that. So let's just give some information here. The beta begins Thursday, February 23rd, and lasts until Sunday the 27th. You'll get an exclusive mission to play through called the Unidad Conspiracy. You spark a war between drug gangs. Also included are 2 of the 21 provinces from the final game, the mountainous Antigua and the tougher snow-capped Altiplano. You can play.
When's the final launch date for the game?
March 7th, I believe.
Oh, okay. Yeah, God, everything is coming to a head, huh? Everything's launching at the same time.
So I will have to play through again. I did not get a, the last thing I'll say about the driving, to me it felt very easy, simplistic, and that was fine for me because, like I said, it's just a conduit for me to get literally from get to A to B. I don't care how good the driving is. I would rather have something be simplistic and let me get from A to B without crashing and having the steering being all wonky and I'm driving, you know, willy-nilly all over the place and feel like it's just a hassle to get from my missions. So I'll take a more dumbed-down driving approach any day. But I will have to replay some of the of this stuff to see if I feel it's, you know, arcadey, whatever. For me, I played just a little bit to get a taste. Sometimes I don't like to play through all these things because I really don't like repeating missions. Certainly in the early stages of the Division, you felt burnt out. Like, how many times am I going to go into that gymnasium and, you know, kill all those people out? You know, I must have done that at least 15 times. And I didn't want to have that same burnout with this because I knew I was going to be picking it up. But I will play it more extensively to maybe get a better, well-rounded opinion on it. But to me, you know, it felt very, you know, team strategy. You could direct the way players could go. I didn't play co-op with anybody, so I was just using AI. They didn't seem to get in the way for me, but I didn't spend, you know, a whole bunch of time. I think I got to that second or third mission where you dropped the guy off. You had to you picked him up from somewhere, and then you had to bring him somewhere else. And what was funny to me is as you're driving from these places, you can get out and go to like these roadside memorials where people were either in the process of being killed or were already killed, and you could drop little like intel things there to, I guess, sort of to traffic the motion of the cartel and gather intel. And sometimes if the guy got out of the vehicle with you, I think he got out all the time. He didn't have any weapons on him, but he would just turn bloody because he was taking bullets. That seemed a little funny.
Was there any part of the missions that are like vehicle based? Like, is there any vehicular combat? Like, if you're driving, you shoot out the vehicles, or is it literally just feel like just the conduit to get from one mission to another?
So far, just a conduit. I imagine there's going to be some stuff. I mean, you were driving along and you could see like things getting red on the side. That like there must have been like the, you know, cartel, like, you know, men with, you know, with their vehicles, like looking out for anybody coming along, or there might even be police there too. So it looked like there was the potential for maybe some sort of car chases or combat. But
yeah,
I'm wondering if passengers can shoot. I mean, it would make sense if your passengers could, you know.
I think you could
having
direct
not
them
played
to
the
shoot.
multiplayer. I don't know.
I definitely was able to direct them to shoot. Because I did that an error. I wanted to sneak up to a place, and I pressed the wrong thing on the D-pad, and all of a sudden my guy's like shooting out the window. And I'm like, oh, so much for stealth.
Stealthy as fuck.
Then I'm going to assume that you can. Unless you get your hands on the wheel.
Yeah. So, just more. I think I said it on I'm not sure if it was this week or last week on the 40cast, but more props to physical media again. I picked up Ghost Recon, Nier Automata, and Horizon Zero Dawn this week with, I guess Best Buy was having a $25 offer if you signed up for Visa checkout. And so I got a hold of that, plus some Best Buy Space Bucks from my previous purchases from a couple of weeks ago. So I got those 3 games, I want to say maybe just a little over $100.
Nice. Look at you, fucking smart shopper.
Yeah.
Let him go.
All that physical media.
Yeah, so shout out to the physical. I know you two guys especially, and Devious Mr. Matt are the digital people. Although Matt did get Horizon Zero Dawn physically through Amazon for the deep discount.
What?
Yeah, I'm thinking of doing the same. Yeah, Matt, get a discount. Can you imagine that?
Can't believe you'd switch over to physical media.
It's fucking disgusting.
That's what it is.
Geez. Yeah, but I'm thinking of doing the same thing. But the nice thing about Amazon is that 2 weeks after the release date, they still do it. So I can kind of wait and see how the reception for the game is before getting it, just to be a dick.
Best Buy does it all the time. I know you don't have Gamer Club unlocked anymore, but Best Buy never.
Right.
There is no after 2 weeks. It's all the time.
I'm curious about the.
Is it for all games?
At Best Buy, yes, yep, and Toys to Life stuff too.
Oh, that's right. It's the $10 pre-order deal, which they've cut back now. They only have it on certain things now, right?
Right. Yep.
Before you used to be able to do any pre-order, you got $10. You got a $10 Best Buy credit or whatever, or not credit, but like gift card kind of balance.
Yeah, which you could put towards like another pre-order. They basically just wanted you to roll it forward.
I'm curious as to how they're going to do, because I'm obviously a digital media snob now. So I'm curious as to how, if I'm going to be able to buy Breath of the Wild right after the Switch launches, because I've also said I don't know if they're going to have all their online shit set up as far as infrastructure goes. So I'm upset that I may have to buy a physical copy of Breath of the Wild. That literally bothers me. I do not want to do that.
And what also bothers me from I'm a guy that we recycle everything in my house. I don't know how you guys operate at your house, but our trash is pretty much just garbage. Everything else is, we recycle religiously to the point where we went out to the town and got a second bin. We bought a second bin because we recycle so much. And I was seeing these cases for these Switch games. And, they're not as big as like a 360 box or a PS4 box, but they're still, pretty tall. And there's just a little cartridge in there.
Yeah, it's like a DS game. It's this tiny little.
Such a waste.
Is it that size?
Oh yeah, you could fit 40 of them in one game disc. I think someone put up a photo on 24. Twitter of a Bomberman.
Yeah, they said 24.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, but I agree. I agree with fucking Captain Planet Mike M over here. I it's a total waste, which is why I buy digital, because I care about the planet and I'm lazy.
Yeah. Well, this is a good segue, Corey, because we're going to switch over now to some eShop news, because I'm not sure if you guys are aware of this, but some shenanigans went on earlier in the week, and I guess some U.S. distributor, some people that were working there stole some of the Switches and then resold them on aftermarkets. I'm not sure if it was eBay or Craigslist or private sales or whatever. And so then people got a hold of these Switches and started putting videos up and things like that. And I guess one of the videos to leak was to tell you about your purchases, that they're no longer tied to the console. So if you had a Wii U and you had all your games on it, and then like an asshole, you dropped the Pro controller or the gamepad, and you couldn't use it anymore, and you needed to go out and buy a new Wii U, well, you would have to call Nintendo up and say, hey, I got a new system. Can I get all my games moved over? Otherwise, you'd have to rebuy them.
So it's not going to be tied to the what?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not a sound I want to hear.
So, yeah, it is tied to your Nintendo eShop persona, gamer tag, or whatever they call it over there.
About time they got smart.
So if you had that other sound effect, Corey, good news, everyone.
I don't. I can. Welcome to the 21st century, Nintendo.
Yeah.
So the fine print on this says your Nintendo account contains your Nintendo eShop purchase history and current balance. By relinking your Nintendo account after initializing the console, it will be possible to re-download any software or DLC purchased using that account. Software that has been discontinued may not be available to re-download in some cases.
Oh, I'm going to link mine so hard. I'm going to do it as soon as I get it. Like,
It's going to slap it on there, huh?
link it just hard as I can.
Are you going to link Breath of the Wild?
Yeah.
Hey, listen, look, listen, hey.
I put Navi on the soundboard just because I knew we'd talk about Breath of the Wild.
Now, did you have you done any research to see if it's going to be available?
From what I saw, like people were talking about how it's like half the size of the memory card that comes with it. I guess like people were complaining about that. So I'm like, okay, maybe it is available for download, but I haven't found any confirmation that I will definitely be able to download it because I don't plan on picking up the physical disc because physical, feed it to the poor. I don't need that shit.
A lack of information from Nintendo about their upcoming console? Get out of here.
Yeah. So what would happen, Jay? Let's put your fuzzy Xbox slippers on. I know you don't have the onesie, but you probably have some slippers.
Those bastards. I'm still pissed I don't have the onesie.
What happened on an Xbox One or a PS4? Were all that stuff available day one? I can't remember.
Yes.
There were games
reload though because you didn't have the console.
Exactly.
Right.
Oh.
There were games available for download. I've yet to ever buy a physical game for like Xbox One and PS4.
So walk me through your day one of either the PS4 or the Xbox One. You got it, you brought it home, you set it up, and then you immediately started what? You bought Rise or you bought what do you remember?
I didn't get the Xbox One on launch. I was maybe three to 4 weeks after it, but I bought the Titanfall bundle, and that just came with a code to download Titanfall. And when I got the PS4, I got whatever free games were. I think there was I don't remember what that Shadow game was. Resogun was available. Yep, that was probably what I played for like the first month solid
that's
on
right,
PS4,
yeah.
which was a really fun shooter, like surprisingly fun. It was clearly just like a demo for the visuals on the PS4, but it was like surprisingly
that game has still
good game.
Been updated, more modes to it, and we have a news story later about it too. So that is a game, and that has how old are these systems now? Already over 3 years old, if you can believe it. So that's a game that they continuously update and have added new stuff to.
Yeah, it's just getting sexier.
So getting back to the point there, I'm just trying to think back. If all of these titles were available on the Xbox One and the PS4 when they launched, I can't remember. I don't know the answer to that, so I'm just trying to...
Yeah, I can't remember if they had the games with gold right from the beginning. I don't think they did, so I know that I have a bunch of cases and discs from when I first got the console because I bought the games physically, so...
Yeah.
I didn't.
I'm just trying to
them.
set your expectations of what it was like for the last gen for Xbox One and PS4, but honestly, I can't remember if that shit was available or not.
Well, those were also on consoles with established online infrastructures, especially with Microsoft. I mean, you've been paying since the original Xbox went online, so Microsoft has like a huge head start, obviously. And Sony's was free up until I guess relatively recently, but it existed. Nintendo's has been so weird and half-assed. So I'm like,
oh yeah, I mean, so many changes.
I guess the only thing to sort of devil's advocate there, that was the first time they were trying to have the two separate stores, the 360 and the One. They weren't the same store at that point, so there was some...
No, you couldn't buy a 360 game on the One.
So there was some new territory there for them, because it's not like you could have gone into your 360 store and said, hey, you know what? I know when the console comes out, I want to get games A, B, and C. Let me just buy them now, and they'll be ready when I plug in. That was not the case. It was a whole new store.
True. But
unless
also,
there was something on the web. I can't remember if there was something that you could have done there.
Yeah, I don't know if you could. I mean, you couldn't preload because you didn't have the console. But
Right.
I know they had the digital games were available, which would be the best comparison to Nintendo. You're not going to be able to. Obviously, you can't preload because you don't have the console. But that is the big question: is will they be like the PS4 and the Xbox One, where you can buy digital day one. That was an option.
And Nintendo is so weird too. Like Nintendo is one of the only companies where I've said multiple times, like, Nintendo, just let me buy your games. I want to give you money. I want your games. Just let me buy them. And they make it difficult oftentimes because they do weird workarounds and they're relatively slow when it comes to online and other modern sensibilities that other consoles have accepted.
If I had to guess, who knows what can happen on release day? Someone could fucking pull the plug, trip the wire, don't switch it over from staging to the real account. Anything can happen. But
just
I would think
plain gump it up.
there is a lot of indie games that are supposed to be coming out. Not a lot, but a handful that are coming out on day one as well. And the only way you can get those is download only. They don't have a physical option for those.
Right.
True.
So that would probably be a good, pointer to the fact that you probably will be able to buy Breath of the Wild and some of the bigger games.
So you have is your backup plan just to run to like a GameStop or something?
Yeah, I really don't want to do that. I feel like I would have my tail between my legs doing that. Like, I don't know if I would just hold out like angrily, but I don't want that Switch just to sit there and stare me in the face while I just fuck around with the UI. But like you said, there is a handful that are supposed to be day one, like Human Resource Machine, and I think the World of Goo and a few others.
Of Isaac and stuff like that, right?
Shovel Knight.
So that they definitely want a physical release.
So I want you to capture this moment in time in case it does go, tits up on you. Can we get just various Instagram photos or some sort of video? I just want to see like what happens like when you fire up you got it all plugged in and you're ready to go and it's not there. I need to be there and capture that moment. So
Corey just losing his shit.
Absolutely.
And I know you've been abstaining from any of these videos, right? Unboxing.
Yeah, I don't like unboxing videos. I've actually had to film one for the PS4. I don't get them, but I know that if I see someone taking the Switch out and like setting it up, I'm going to get an even harder Nintendo-er. So like I'm not watching them. I don't want to know. I don't need to know. There isn't really much I don't already know about what's going to be in that box. So I'm abstaining. But
yeah, because you already know the peripherals and stuff that are going to be in it, right? Because that's usually why I watch an unboxing. Yeah. That's the only time is when I want to know, is there this cable in it or does it have the headset?
Yeah, so I haven't watched any, but yes, when I fire mine up, I will set up my iPad on my face, and if I can't fucking download that motherfucker, you're gonna hear about it.
Yeah. Well, let's move on now. It's enough.
Well, I got a quick question.
Go ahead.
Corey's saying that he doesn't want to watch that unboxing video, but also I guess they showed some of the UI for Switch, which has not been shown off.
Oh, really?
There's no interest. Yeah, so there's no interest to see it for that.
Don't tickle my Nintendo-er. I don't want to. I want to be surprised.
Just a tip, buddy. Just a tip.
There's not too many surprises left in life, so I've just been ignoring it. I've seen screenshots, pictures of it because they show up on your Twitter feed. It doesn't look anything special to me. It doesn't look terrible like it's 1980s DOS prompt graphics or something like that. But it looks like a pretty streamlined, straightforward approach to me.
Yeah, and Nintendo is known for having the little Nintendo flares when it comes to things like that. Like they keep everything very basic, like with the Wii and the Wii U. But like, what is it? I think it was a 3DS when you transferred your data. They had that little image of the Pikmin, like picking up your little data blocks and running it over and putting them down, and that was cute. That's something I'd like to be surprised by. So yeah, things like that. I just want to be surprised by. Like Mike said, there's not a lot surprises you in this world anymore. So
raging Nintendo. What do you call it?
A Nintendo-er?
Has been averted.
All right, well, let's move on to the question of the week, which is, what is your favorite fighting game of all time? The genesis of this question was we had a lot of discussion last week on For Honor, and we'll get to that again this week.
Oops, sorry.
Now who's got a boner? And so Jay was making the case last week that For Honor certainly has some roots in fighting. And I will agree with that now that I've played some of the story. There is more things that they tell you on how to do combos and stuff like that. So spot on, Jay, with that. Yeah, the game definitely has some elements of that for sure. So let's get into some of the responses. If we move down the planner, gentlemen, I will kick things off with Bucks Sugar Free. He says Street Fighter 2.
Oh, there you go.
I used to get a roll of quarters and ride my bike to the arcade. It was my first experience playing against a live person that wasn't my friend. I remember there would be a line of people waiting to play that game. Ken was my guy to go.
Oh, that story like hits me in the nostalgia feels. Like I remember going to an arcade. I remember there being a crowd around the new consoles, and they'd show up, and you would stand in line, and you would fucking put your quarter up at the top. That was like the unsaid law in arcades. Like I got next game, just to plop your quarter up there. And if you won, of course, you stayed and you took on the next challenger. It was such a cool system that like just totally arose out of that culture, and that culture is gone now. It's so sad.
Yeah, that was Hippodrome for me.
I'd say about 92, 93 in Revere, Mass. If anybody's been in Revere, it's a very North Shore town in the greater Boston area. Let's put it that way.
Not fun to drive in, I'll tell you that.
And so there's a cinema there. And in 92, 93, me and my buddy would go there not to watch movies, just to play Street Fighter. And and there was a whole bunch of people there like that. They weren't there to see movies. They were just going there to play that game.
It was just in the lobby of the movie theater?
Yep.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, that's one of the places, like, when arcades were starting to die, you could always go to a movie theater, and there'd be, like, a mini arcade. That's where I used to go to play Afterburner 2. They had one of those arcade cabinets where you would sit in the cockpit, and when you turned the like the handle, the whole seat turned. That was like the only place you could play Afterburner 2 like that. So I did the same thing. I'd go to a theater just to play the fucking games.
And I know the person that I went to the Revere Cinemas with all the time, he used to go to school at Boston Latin. And sometimes on his way home from school, he would go to the arcades in Downtown Crossing. Mm-hmm. So theater district area maybe. And those are supposedly some crazy times there. You know, you had a lot of, like, Asian gangs and stuff like that, and things would get out of hand, too, especially if you were beating them or they were beating you, and words were said. I only got greeted, welcome to that one time I went there, but there was no issues. But he said that was a routine thing there, some fisticuffs at the arcade.
Oh, man, arcades were shady places back in the day. They weren't regulated. You could always buy drugs. At like nearly every arcade I remember, there was always at least one person to buy drugs from. And I remember Boston actually attempted to ban, I don't know if they're successful, attempted to ban video games in like the mid-'80s because of all the like gang problems they were having at arcades.
Yeah, I would imagine it was that arcade. Let's move on here. Kel18 says the Dead or Alive series. Just love the way the counter system works. Also, Blaz Blue is really good too.
Oh, come on. Dead or Alive series? I know why you play that game.
Jumblies. The Dead or Alive, what was that, 3 that came with the OG Xbox?
Was it 3? I remember it was one of the, I think it was 3 because I remember just around the time that came out, my family moved, and we had an account at like a Front Row Video. I don't know if you guys remember Front Row Video.
Yep.
But my family moved, so all that contact information was like null and void. So I remember I went there, and I'm going to rent a ton of these Xbox games and never bring them back. And one of them was that Dead or Alive game. So I had that for the longest time with like a Front Row Video sticker across it.
So if anybody in the when did that come out? The late 90s, early 2000? Yeah. So if anybody's rates went up at Front Row Video, you can blame it on Corey Atwood.
Yeah, don't worry about that. I think Front Row Video died a horrific death before Blockbuster even did.
Jay must have went in there and dropped a fart. Oh, that was Best Buy.
Yeah.
Let's see.
The old Blockbuster.
Mafia Thug, our buddy on Discord. What's up, Mafia Thug? And Latina Mafia, hello. Let's see. Tekken 2, that's the only fighting game I've really played extensively. I've mastered all the moves with the Jackie Chan type character. Damn it, I forgot his name. I was a beast with him. And then I discovered FPS games and haven't gone back to any fighting game since. I've always wanted to check out Dynasty Warriors, though. It looks interesting.
I think that was Lei Wulong. I think that's the name of that character from Tekken. I was never like Tekken always intimidated the shit out of me. How technical it was. I was into fighting games that were like crazy, like Mortal Kombat, over the top. Tekken, like all those crazy combos were like actual punch moves and real combos, and I could never do them. But I remember watching my friends play and just being like intimidated as fuck. Like so, anybody who's good at Tekken like always impressed the shit out of me.
And then we have RoboPig. I'm going to be the old man and say 4D boxing on PC.
Oh, Dave.
I love that game in spite of its penchant for breaking joysticks. Don't look it up. It's horribly ugly, but the control scheme was pretty cool.
Oh my God, I'm looking at it right now. This game is ugly as fuck. This game makes Virtua Fighter look gorgeous.
Yeah, I've got to go back, though, real quick for Mafia Thug, where he mentions he discovered first-person shooters and didn't go back to the fighting games. That
Look at that game.
is very valid. So. And then moving back onto Dave's, yeah, that was a horrible-looking game.
Like, every single polygon looks like Lara Croft's tits in like the very first Tomb Raider. Everyone's just sharp and pointy.
Except for the fist are like just like big bowling balls.
Yeah, big non-intimidating bowling balls. Oh, man. Games did not age well. All right, so next up is the elusive man of Future Monkeys. What's up, man? Definitely Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. I have the fondest memories of sitting there with friends and spending hours wrecking house with M. Bison. I'm excited to get down with Ultra Street Fighter 2 on the Switch. Me too, dude. When it releases, and head nod to the movie Street Fighter. I agree.
Yes.
Not for its greatness. Well, it's a certain kind of greatness. But for the late actor Raul Julia, he was the greatness I was referring to. I admired him for playing Gomez in one of my favorite movies, The Addams Family, and also for being a Puerto Rican actor, my nationality. Why head nod him? Because he's the reason why I always did and always will play as M. Bison in Street Fighter. Huh.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Non-traditional fighting game, all the N64 WWF games. Yes, I'm glad he mentioned all the wrestling games in N64. No Mercy, WrestleMania 2000. My God, my friends and I had leagues and notebooks and promoters and championships. Best times multiplayer gaming with friends. Who the hell was a promoter? That's for your little. Who were they promoting it to?
They was trying to, at school. They had to get people interested and come down.
We'll play in the library.
Yeah.
All right. The next is oh Christ, how do I pronounce that name?
JFresh4.
JFresh4.
Nice.
Never truly played a fighting game through and through, but Injustice is one I played a lot.
And
I never played Injustice.
Let's welcome him to the Discord channel as well.
Yes, welcome. And Mike, can you pronounce that next name for me?
Jay has been pronouncing it as Assistole68.
We'll go with that. I would have to say Marvel vs. Capcom 2. That's a new one. I'll give you this. Combo Breaker. The fact that I could choose my favorite superhero to fight alongside my favorite Capcom heroes and villains made my day, and I spent many an hour testing what combos of fighters worked for me. I was definitely deeper than I expected. Marvel vs. Capcom was one of those games that people would print out like books of combos and exploits and like frame counts of characters. MVC is games that people get way deep into.
It's before you get too far ahead of yourself, Dick Corey. That's also it's a phrase there that you said at the end that could. It was an adequate way to describe my evening last night.
What?
It was definitely deeper than I expected.
Jesus. Right up to your eyebrows?
I was raging last night.
Dat Naturalist, a Shonuff71 of Gamer Husbands, hands down SNK's Mark of the Wolves. Wow, that's another combo breaker. Combo breaker! I think I own every home version available other than the Neo Geo. Hashtag Kush Nod for the win. Wow, I don't know anyone who is super. I know of Mark of the Wolves, but I didn't know anyone who was like way deep into Mark of the Wolves. That's cool. And your turn.
We're going to move on to Adam Karen at Oppenheim Dingio. I'm going to say.
Well done.
Soul Calibur 2 for the GameCube. Beaten that game's weapon master mode so many times. Hashtag Voldo.
Was that the one where you could play as like Link if you bought it on the GameCube, or like Vader if you bought it on the Xbox, or was that the one I was talking? Like
I think it might have been. I'm not sure.
I think it was one of the Soul Calibur games, but yeah, you could play as Link on the GameCube, and I thought they got the best deal out of that one.
Mark at Mr. Grail.
Is that Grail or Gray 2? Sorry,
I don't know if that could be Mr. Gray too. So
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Matt on the 40cast called him Mr. Gray 2, and then I was looking at that and was thinking it was Mr. Grail as well. But Mark, please let us know.
Yes, please. And what he says is MK2 on SNES. I was proficient with most of the fighters. Still no many fatalities. Was almost a direct arcade port, unlike MK1. But many hours into that game, Super Street Fighter 2 close second for its time with the gore. MK2 hands down, Baraka was my cat. But would use Sung a lot to morph into others to switch up strategy. Also, Kentaro Fatality was awesome.
Fuck yeah, Mark. I'm going to give you this because I am absolutely with you, but I was on the Genesis. MK2, that is like my favorite fighting game of all time. I never got good with Shang Tsung, but I was nasty with Scorpion and with Raiden and with Noob Sabit. I had that's one of the only fighting games where I had like crazy amount of combos memorized, but I envied people who knew all the Shang Tsung morphs because you could so fuck with people you played with if you like morphed into them and beat them as them. It was such a kick in the pants.
Yeah, I played that on Genesis also, Corey. So
that's what I'm talking about.
Here we go. Next we have Graham, Gamox 14. As of right now, MK, what is that? XL, which would be what? I don't know, 11?
Mortal Kombat
14?
Extra Large?
Yeah, extra large. They will go with that. It's really good. Street Fighter 5 was a clusterfuck. Tekken is also a great package. And
was that like an add-on for Mortal Kombat X or something? I'm not sure.
I don't know.
I don't know either. I didn't play it. I feel ashamed. I'm sorry.
I'm unfamiliar, and please fill us in. And our last one, our fellow podcaster from the 40cast, Eric Glover, a.k.a. at Glovebox. Anything in the SNK wheelhouse, but I would pick Samurai Showdown, best series ever.
It makes me happy that a lot of our responders chose like old school retro fighting games. I feel like that's when fighting games were in their heyday, is when they were in the arcade.
Yeah, they were a lot of fun.
Let's quickly go around and discuss our favorites. Now, a non-traditional fighting game for me, but one that I played a shit ton, was Pro Wrestling on the NES.
Oh, where you could be Starman?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck yeah.
I played that
forgot
thing
about that.
so many times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The animation where you did the roundhouse kick and you kicked the guy right in the fucking face. I love that animation as a kid. Like, I'll always remember that. I always thought that was so like brutal looking, even in 8-bit.
I can't remember the character I played. It wasn't the star
there was
guy.
like a
It was
swamp
the
guy that would bite down on you.
the swamp dude.
There was a frog guy. There was a blonde guy. I can't remember.
You
All
played,
I remember.
looked like Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
The only name I remember is Starman. He was the pink dude with the star on his face.
I used to throw people into the ropes and then do like the flying belly splash on them so many times. It was just over and over again. I'd be tossing these dudes into the rope, clotheslining them, getting on top of them.
I would use the swamp guy and chomp their head.
Yeah.
That's the one I remember. Was like, we'd all cheer when it happened.
I definitely say Dead or Alive brought gaming back for me. That was the I was dating I wasn't dating. We were living together when the original Xbox came out, and that was one of the first games we got was Dead or Alive, and we would play that. I remember that and the skiing game, 2 games that my wife and I would play together, and she really hasn't played anything since. Yeah, I really enjoyed the Dead or Alive game. Amped was the skiing game.
Amped, okay. I was going to say, I don't remember the skiing game, but yeah, okay.
And maybe not a traditional fighting game at all, but one has fighting elements to it, was that Kung Fu game on the NES. I played that a shit ton as well.
Oh, my God. I have that, actually. That's like about 15 feet from me right now on my shelf of NES games. And yeah, that's one of my favorite NES games. It's incredibly hard. It's actually based on a Jackie Chan like movie series from Japan. It's actually like a Jackie Chan That's Jackie Chan, that main character dude in Kung Fu.
Yeah.
But he wasn't famous at the time. So when they ported the game, they just totally changed the name. It's called like Wheels on Meals or something like that in Japan. I don't remember exactly. But yeah, dude, that game's so much fun. I remember playing that in the arcade constantly.
Yeah. I think and the last one real quick is when they first brought the DC characters to Mortal Kombat. I played the shit out of that. All the stories that you could do and like smash the guys through the walls. First time I saw that, I was absolutely blown away.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe.
Right.
Really good. They couldn't have Superman kill anybody, but he could brutally beat the living fuck out of them.
Yeah.
Like I think they called them brutalities or overkills or something like that.
Have you seen the new one that they're working on? What's it called?
A new Mortal Kombat game?
No, not Mortal Kombat. The other one is already out on PlayStation. Injustice 2. Have you seen that?
I haven't seen
crazy.
Swamp Thing.
Oh, I did see it. Yeah.
I saw Robin and Batman fighting today and some shit. That looks unbelievable.
Yeah, that game is incredible, even though I didn't play it much, but it looks incredible.
So who wants to jump in next?
I'm never good at those Injustice games, but I always love the character models. The character models are so fucking cool.
And the finishing moves are pretty cool. That's another game that I prefer to watch somebody play because I don't have the skill.
Yeah, my son will pick it up, so we'll watch him and we'll play.
Yeah, so but for me, in the arcade, it was Hippodrome. Look that one up. You want to talk about old school? What the fuck?
I tried. I cannot find Hippodrome. Like I've looked. Maybe I'm spelling it wrong. I can't. I don't know what this game is that you played. I can't find it.
As I pause, which is not good for
It's
the
not good
thing.
pause.
So.
Every time I look up Hippodrome, it was an ancient Grecian stadium for horse racing and chariot racing.
Yes.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. How old are you, Jay? Oh my God.
Type in Hippodrome game. And that will pull up. I actually have the ROM for it. I haven't played it much. And it's tough because of just
there we go.
how
Some
old
guy
the
with
game
like
was.
a Viking guy with the helmet on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like Golden Axe.
Yeah, you could fight a dragon and Medusa, and you could play as Medusa. And that's one I used to play in the arcade. And, yeah, I sat on that game, and I didn't have to get away from it too often. I was pretty damn good. That's the only fighting game I was ever good at.
Now, were you button mashing, or did you actually have the technique down?
Yes.
Now, what's up with this? What's up with this
Technical
black
button mash.
This black Santa in a purple outfit on a skateboard? What's that?
What the fuck? Where are you finding
What
that?
are you looking at? That one makes no sense to me.
I'm putting it in the chat right now, so you don't think I'm fucking hallucinating. His name was Boogie Wings.
Wow, that doesn't sound racist
Oh,
at
that
all.
was the gargoyle, right?
He looks like a black Santa in a purple outfit to me on a skateboard. Boogie Wings.
No, I don't know. I don't know.
Oh my God.
Let's quickly move along here.
Yeah. So no, I played that, and then Corey, seeing as you were a Genesis fan, and it was also on other stuff. But do you remember Eternal Champions?
Oh my God, you guys have fucking stolen what I was gonna say. Yes.
I still have the cartridge over in a box with my Genesis.
Angel, that's one I'm trying to get back. I don't have that one back yet, but yeah, dude, the music in that one, the violence in that one, you could do fatalities, but you had to like set it up perfectly in the level. I used to spend hours setting up the characters perfectly in like a fake 2-player game just so I could like do the last hit at the exact right spot to see the fatalities, because the fucking internet didn't exist then. So you couldn't see the fatalities unless you physically did them. Dude, I was so obsessed with that game. This is embarrassing. I can't believe I'm going to admit this, but that's the only game I've ever written fan fiction for. I wrote like
Did you fap to this?
I did not fap to it, but I remember I had a writing assignment in like 8th grade or something, and I wrote a story all about like the main character was the guy, I think his name was Blaze. He was like the cop from like 2049 or whatever, but he was the main character, and like the whole story was about like Eternal Champions. Oh, the game was insanely hard, by the way. I never ever beat it.
No, I mean, I don't know what drew me to it. I enjoyed playing it, and holy shit, I just pulled it up on Amazon, and they're selling it's $100.
Yeah, it's tough to find. I mean, it's not even
Yeah.
I mean, it's such a hard fighting game, like punishingly hard. Like if you lose one match, you go all the way back to the beginning, no matter how far along in the ladder you were. So I remember every time I would get to the chick who was she was like a circus performer or whatever. She was incredibly fast and really, really hard to block. So I remember I'd always start her.
Yeah, that was a brutal game. But and then I loved Killer Instinct. So
there we go. Finally.
yeah, the original. Yeah, I played the original a lot. I think Jamie used to probably kick my ass pretty good, but I enjoyed playing that. So.
Is anybody playing the new Killer Instinct?
No, not really, not much.
What's the deal with that? They give you the game for free, but you got to buy a season's pass or something? I don't know.
You have to buy the characters. You have a character. I believe when they started the beginning, it was a different character would be unlocked each month for you. And then it would go back in unless you purchased the character. So you could buy the season's pass or whatever they called it. And it basically unlocks the characters. It's not like, because there's no maps or anything like that. I think there's a background for each character too. So that's how that works. I have season 1 and 2 because they had both of them with games with gold at one point in time. So every once in a while I'll go in and just play around. I like playing as the skeleton. I can't remember his name. And then I would play as, is it Saberwolf, the werewolf, which I believe when we went to the Microsoft store before the 1 launch, we had some video that it got posted from pre-1 launch of Killer Instinct. And it was Saberwolf or the werewolf, and I can't remember what the other character was. So
cool.
But it's fun to play.
Any other games, guys, you want to mention?
You guys already mentioned my favorite fighting game, Mortal Kombat 2. Who was that? Was that Los who mentioned Mortal Kombat 2? That was no, it wasn't Los. That was.
Is that Mr. Gray too?
That was Mr. Grail. I'm not sure which, but yeah, Mortal Kombat 2 and Jay just brought up Eternal Champions. Those are mine, but oh my God, this Boogie Wings guy, this purple Santa Claus guy, I can't get enough of.
I don't see it. It didn't pull up in my chat. So
it's ridiculous.
Yeah, you're in 2 different chats, Jay, on our call. You're like in an old call. I put it in the current call. Anyway, that's behind the scenes stuff for people.
Yeah, and behind the scenes, don't break the fourth wall. Oh shit.
We're all supposed to know what Mr. Boogie Wings look like.
I don't know where to go from here. The question of the week for next week. And before I get to it, I read a lot of people's Twitter profiles when I don't know who they are, and they're appearing in my feed. And, you get a lot of people that say, I'm a gamer geek, I'm a tech geek, this, that, and the other thing. So it got me thinking, what do you identify more with? Are you a nerd, a geek, or a dork? And I don't know if we want to discuss that at all a little bit or wait till next week. Or what do you guys feel?
God, I want to discuss it now, but isn't the format, shouldn't we save it for next week?
I think we should save it, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So let us know what you more identify with. Joe has already publicly stated that he does not want to be called either one of those. So tomorrow or whenever you hear this, make sure you tweet Joe and call him either a nerd, dork, or a geek.
Yeah, so or all 3. Definitely do that.
All right, we got some listener questions here that we're going to tackle right now. Again, Mark, Mr. Gray 2, or McGrail, we don't know. He was wondering, what is our preferred medium for listeners to use? I personally was introduced to the Gamers in Beta podcast through the iHeartRadio app. To me, I don't think it really matters.
How many different, I don't know what you want to call them, podcast platforms are we on right now? I know we're on iTunes, and I know we're on iHeartRadio. Which other ones are we on? We're
on Stitcher. We're on Google Play.
Not on Spotify yet, though, right? I think I checked Spotify, and I didn't see Gamers in Beta.
I'll have to look and see if that's an option yet. Also, the show goes weekly to YouTube, and it's also posted on Facebook, the video. So there is no video, but it's there. They're posted as a video. So a handful of places. I don't have a preference. Obviously, the more traditional ones, whether that's iHeart, Stitcher, Google Play, iTunes are somewhat preferred because those actually come into our download stats, where the video stuff like YouTube and Facebook, you just get different stats for those. Those are more like considered views than downloads.
How do you guys listen to your podcast? I know like all of us are podcast listeners, so what do you guys use?
I use my phone, and I just use the standard iTunes baked-in app, the podcast app. I don't have anything fancy.
Yeah, that's what I use too, just because it's easy and I'm used to it, and I can cycle through like oldest podcasts to newest ones, so I'm constantly trying to catch up to like the newest ones. So that's what I use too. I use iTunes.
I haven't had any issues with it, so I've never felt a need to go get anything different. What about you, Jay?
I use headphones.
All right.
No, I use my iPhone. I use iTunes for the same reason that I go through. And it just makes it easy. It automatically propagates. I don't have to deal with it. It's right there on my hip.
I just I just started using Spotify like maybe 2 months ago, and they had a deal where you get like 3 months for like 99 cents or something like that. And I love it. I dig the shit out of it. And they have a whole podcast section. The only problem is they have about 50% of the podcasts I listen to. So I'm like, I can't totally switch over to Spotify yet. And I think Gamers in Beta is one of the ones I can't listen to on it yet. So
Spotify is not one of the destinations I can add in the podcasting solution that we use.
Oh, okay.
So I'll have to ping them and see what that's about, but it's not an option.
Pay if you could subscribe to it.
For a while there, I wanted to go to SoundCloud, but you actually had to have a SoundCloud account to, like, you could upload it to SoundCloud, but then it would say you're out of memory. So it would take your first episode, and then you try to go add your second one, and it'd be like, sorry, we can't upload to it because you need to pay for a SoundCloud account.
I probably sound like an old, out-of-touch fogey, but how many people use SoundCloud? Like, I would like to know that. Anyone who's listening right now, tell me if you know that SoundCloud is popular. Because the only people I know who use SoundCloud are, like, struggling musicians on Facebook who want me to listen to their, like, latest freestyle. So, I don't know, but maybe I could be totally wrong.
That's why I have an account and use it, because that's how I listen to Palette Swap Ninja.
Oh, I love Palette Swap Ninja. Love them. Dan Emerson,
Yes.
man. I thought you meant you had a SoundCloud account because you were a struggling rap artist.
Yeah, he's actually not.
You don't want to hear that.
He's actually, what's that guy's name again? I already forgot it.
Jay Fresh?
No, Boogie. What do we call that guy?
Oh, Boogie Wings.
Yeah, I was just
Boogie
looking
Wings.
that up. I don't think that is from Hippodrome.
No,
So,
it was in the picture.
I definitely want to see. I need to hear Jay rapping as Boogie Wings now.
Do I have to wear the Santa hat?
Absolutely.
All right, we beat that one up pretty good. Unless anybody has anything else to offer. I know the Android guys use all sorts of crazy things to listen to podcasts, but that's a different world for me. Here's a very difficult question from Devious Mr. Matt, of course, of the 40cast. Thanks again for being on last week, Matt. He says, if you all could only play one game the rest of the year, what would it be? And the game has to already have been released. Does anybody want to go first?
It's a bitch that it has to already be released, because my strategy would be a game that I haven't played yet, so I could, beat up all year and wouldn't have gone through. So I guess I think if I could do that and I knew I would have no other games that would interfere, maybe Resident Evil 7, because I have no interest in picking that up right now because I'm like, I'm not going to have time to get to it. But if
you could play that for a year?
Well, I don't know. I haven't played a Resident Evil game in a while, but maybe if I could play it on PSVR, maybe I could play it for a year. I don't know. Yeah,
you just said an interesting thing there that is going to be my answer.
Oh, VR. That's going to be involved in it. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to say Resident Evil 7, again, one of the reasons I'm picking it is because I haven't played it yet, because, it'd be totally new, but anyone who's played it might be yelling at me like, you're fucking stupid to be done with that game in 10 hours, so maybe it's a dumb answer, but I think mine's Resident Evil 7, or Neo. I know a lot of people are into Neo right now, so maybe Neo.
All right, Jay, how about yourself?
I would have to take two here, either Skyrim.
He said one.
Came out this year.
He didn't say this year.
It did come out this year.
Oh, get the fuck out of here.
He said the game has to already have come out.
Yeah, he said that game had to come out. Doesn't say anything about this year, but even if it was this year, it still came out this year as a re-release.
Get the fuck.
That was last year.
It came out in 2011, you motherfucker.
And it came out in 2016 as the re-release.
Oh, true. So, but it would be Skyrim. The other one would have been Grand Theft Auto 5, but it's not my thing, so it would definitely be Skyrim. Just for the fact that I still haven't finished all the side quests and all that stuff. So there's still a lot more I could play, and then it's got, you can continue to pillage dungeons and collect treasure and fight stuff continually. I mean, you never really finish the game.
Man, so, you and Gamer Girl are some Skyrim playing motherfuckers.
Yeah, I would play Skyrim. I could play Skyrim and just continue to play. I had thought about Fallout 4, but I pretty much almost finished everything in Fallout, and I have not Skyrim, so it'd be a good opportunity to finish it.
I'm gonna break the rules here. I think I'm gonna go with Fallout because we got a story coming up here, but there's gonna be VR, and Fallout 4 is already out, right? So I'm hoping you don't have to rebuy the game if you already own it. They'll give it to you, and I can just replay it in VR.
I thought the rule was it had to have come out in 2017. I was ill-informed when I went into this question.
Well, based off of that, would you change your choice?
If it had to come out let's recalibrate here and give three different answers. A game that came out this year that you would play through the rest of the year. So that means you got a month and a half of stuff that has come out, which has been a lot.
Right.
What would you play?
That's what I already picked. I picked Neo or Resident Evil 7 because I thought we were already limited to just what has come out so far.
And Jay, if it came out this year,
that's a tough one. I mean, my first thing that comes to my head is Sniper Elite 4, just because it's the first game this year that has really drawn me in and interested me.
Is it like an open world? Is there like a ton of stuff to do?
No, but you can replay to unlock different stuff and to, do like a stealth playthrough, do just a thrash and bang through or whatever. So,
ooh, thrash and bang.
Well, I am going to go with the Hitman collection.
Good answer.
Oh, good call.
Yeah,
that came out on physical media this month or in January. And that's what I would play, because that's how long it would take me to finish it.
Yes. Yeah, it would. And that has multiple ways you can play through and whatnot. So. And
don't they do those events where you have like one shot at getting the kill? Yeah. That's a good answer. Something that's constantly updated.
Yeah, that was, if I had thought of that would be a much better answer, but I didn't, so I'm going to have to give it to Mike.
All right. Let's move on, gentlemen, to what we've been playing. Jay is very eager to talk about Sniper Elite 4, so let's go with Corey first then and get him out of the way.
Yeah, mine will be out of the way quick. I haven't played a ton of different games. I'm trying to stay as far as narratives go, I'm trying to stay like the gamer equivalent of single right now, because I know that Breath of the Wild is coming up, and I'm going to just, throw myself into that. So right now I'm just playing like multiplayer stuff. Apparently Mike is a ringer for Mario Kart 8. We played that a couple of nights ago, and I was like, he's going to be terrible. I've been playing it recently, and Mike beat me most of the fucking time. But it
was close. I think
he's been playing with the kids.
I think you won more than I did, but we were always finishing usually one or two.
Yeah, and Mario Kart 8 is still super fucking fun. So I'm going to buy it when it comes out on the Switch again too. So that, and I've thrown myself back into Rocket League. I have it on my PS4, and I debated for like 24 hours, like, do I want to move my PS4 down in my den, or do I want to just buy Rocket League on the Xbox One so I don't have to move it? So I spent the $15 so I wouldn't have to move the consoles. So now I own it on both consoles. Plus, I have like a whole new group of friends I can play it with. So I'm playing a lot of Rocket League the past couple of nights. And that's pretty much it for me. So all car-based shit, I guess.
Nice.
All right, Jay, lay it on us.
I forgot what I've been playing. Oh, wait. No, Sniper Elite 4. I have been playing the hell out of that. Last night, I just completed the third mission. No
spoilers.
The maps on these are enormous, and which is one of the improvements from 3. They're much bigger. a difference also from 3. For anybody that has played it, I mean, you're playing as a sniper. You go along. You also carry some close quarters weapons. You can generally you're trying to play stealth. It feels like you need to be a little more stealthy in 4 than you did in 3. The maps are much bigger, like said. There are a lot more enemies that you have to defeat, and now you actually have to take on some tanks and whatnot too, which I think you did in the other one too, but you kind of dealt with them a little differently. I'm not really going to go too in depth in that, but you can take out the drivers and gunners and whatnot, and then you have to take them out from there stealthily without getting killed. And something that Borderlands figured out after 1 was that people don't like running up to ammo and having to hit a button, or running up to guns and hitting a button to pick them up. So they've made it so now when you run around, if you are carrying a weapon and you run up to that same weapon, you automatically pick up the ammunition. So you don't have to do that. Also, if you are crouched, and in this, because it's Sniper's Elite and you're running around as a sniper, you can actually run in the prone or the crouched position. And in the old game, when you were crouched and you ran, it automatically took you out, so you were no longer, stealth. So you could be seen easier.
What does that look like, running in prone position?
I don't know. Watch.
Like just a super fast scurry. That's what I imagine.
Sort of like Gears of War.
Yeah, kind of
like a
that.
like a roadie run, kind of.
Yes, actually, yes, very much
okay.
so. A roadie run. So now, when you do that, you don't pop up into the standing position when you've stopped. You stay in your prone position. So that's an improvement. That is a definite improvement. If you're playing, you will understand why. I'm really enjoying the game. Thoroughly.
So it's not like total prone. Like prone is like laying on your.
Not right.
No,
not
he's
prone.
saying crouch position.
Crouch, right?
Okay.
Not prone. Crouched.
I
Right.
see. I picture you running just on your elbows and knees, like
No,
fast as-
you can only crawl if you're in the
Crab
prone
walk.
position.
Yeah, like-
you can
like a s-
crawl in the prone position, but you
like a
can't walk.
centipede with a rifle or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's some traversal in this, which like you can crawl up logs and chains and stuff like that, and kind of like almost Tomb Raider or what's the PS4?
Uncharted.
And Uncharted. You can kind of crawl around like you're hanging. You can crawl along, fences and railings, and then there's like logs or chains that you can climb up. You shimmy up, and then you can go in and do that. So you have that. So that's new too. So really enjoying the game.
It looks great on the PS4 Pro too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks okay on the Xbox One.
Yeah,
You're
so
playing on
I've
the
se-
PS4.
Oh
Right.
yeah. Sorry.
yeah, I've seen from the screenshots I've seen. I think Mike's posted a bunch. The game looks gorgeous.
Yeah,
It does.
So I make sure that when I take some of the pictures that it really accentuates that. It could be misleading at times. It's not a bad looking game by any stretch, but certainly on the Pro things look really good to me. And then there's sometimes you're like, oh, okay, that's just okay. But
Have you had
overall,
any-
I think it's a good looking game.
Have you had any testicle shots for?
I haven't got one yet.
No.
No.
Mine is posted on my Twitter feed.
I think yours may have been the one I saw. Like it's terrible. The guy lying on his back when you shot him.
The I'm not sure how you guys play games, but sometimes when you have so many games, you feel like you're almost rushing through them at times because you know you got to get to something else, or maybe the game really isn't holding your attention, but you still want to finish it, so you're going through, at a quicker pace than maybe you would normally play. Now with Sniper Elite, it's going to sound weird, but I am so relaxed when I play this game. I am not.
Yes.
I am not in a rush to get on to the next game or get on to the next chapter. My mind has figured out that I cannot get through this game in a fast manner. So it is best to take your time. And so what I do is I use the binoculars, I press down on R3, I search everywhere around me that I can possibly look, and then I'm tagging anything and everything with the R2 button. And then I find a good vantage spot, and I take out as many guys as I can. And I rinse, repeat. And the strategy that I always use is I take the binoculars and I make sure that nothing is behind me. So I'm always moving forward. So I never have to go back to where I was. So I'm sort of clearing the area out in a forward, like cone fashion, right? And I find that useful. But I'm just very relaxed. I remember one time in the first mission I was in a sniper nest. I must have been there about a half hour, 40 minutes maybe. Took out probably around 15, 25 guys before I moved on. But just waiting until they make a move, until they stay still. Sometimes they might see you a little bit and you crouch. And then it says all clear. And then it will tell you that the enemy is out looking, seeking to see if they can find you. And I pick those guys off. And sometimes I blow up a truck so it brings them all to sort of investigate it. And then I can stop picking them off that way. But it's a very methodical approach, but not like super bogged down into any sort of like strategy. You know what I mean? It's just it's a relaxing game.
Yeah, I love games that are stealthy and methodical. So you're like selling this game to me, and I don't want you to do that, damn it, because I don't want to pick it up right now. And I could have reviewed it. The review code was offered to me at Bago, but I was like, I got another review coming up, and
it is so good.
I turned it down.
Yeah, Mike mentioning that it's while you're playing, you're kind of relaxed. It didn't really click to me before, but when he says it, it really is. I mean, this is a game that you have to go in and you take your time playing. You're not hurrying. It's not a Call of Duty or a Battlefield. You're going through and you take the binoculars and you spot. You got to really look around and look in all the little corners and everything, and sit a little bit because the guys, these AI walk around, so they'll be behind something, so you won't see them. So you wait till they come out, and then you spot them. So which is nice. Once you get them all spotted, that if there's any tanks or anything like that or any explosives, you can tag all of this, so that then you see it within your peripheral vision, or even if you're looking straight at them. So it really is kind of relaxing when you're doing that, unless you get spotted, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh shit.
Yeah. I mean, this is a game that moves at your pace. So you know how you play, sometimes you play like a Battlefield or a Call of Duty or other games, and sometimes you feel like the story's moving and you're just there watching it happen, and occasionally you got to take stuff out. That's not the case with this game. You dictate the pace of the game. Yeah. So if you're just crouching somewhere and methodically taking guys out, the game is going to move very slow. If you're running around, getting detected, then it's going to move faster. Guys are going to start coming at you, and you're going to use the L1 button to switch to your, assault rifle, machine gun, whatever you have equipped, and it's no longer going to be a sniping game.
You use the L1? I use the D-pad.
I use the L1 to bring up the wheel.
Yeah, and then you can
the weapon.
Right, you can quick select using the D-pad.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't think of that, but
yeah.
I use the L1 just because then I always bring up healing, or I bring up bandages and stuff.
Right, yeah. If you're going to use the bandages and stuff, or a mine, you can even. The thing is like I said, you play this at your pace. You can even set up like a trap for some guys. So you go in, you're in stealth, you haven't been noticed. You can take like a mine, a pressure sensitive mine or whatever. Can't remember the actual name of it now, and set it in like just inside a doorway. And then stand up in the doorway, and then run off. And somebody will spot you. They see you. You run off, and wait till they come to the doorway, and then they'll set off a bomb or something. And if there's any explosives in the area, you can set off a chain reaction. It'll kill. Up to, I think I've gotten up to 8 or 10 guys with a chain reaction, and it's so satisfying when you do that. And you didn't even fire a shot. It was all chain reaction.
What is it? World War I or World War II? Where it's set in?
Two.
Okay.
2.
Yeah.
And there's more voice acting this time around. There's more like cut scenes where you can. Yeah. At least at the start of Mission 2, there's a little bit of backstory there and stuff like that. There is co-op. Jay and I have yet to do that, so I can't tell you if it's the same exact missions, just in co-op. I believe so, but we'll get back to you on that. Jay has played the other mode, Overwatch, with Gamer Goalie.
Yeah, which they had in 3, and we never played it. And I understood why, because in 3, the way the menu was set up was I didn't even realize it was in there, because you have to go under Xbox Live, and we never really went under that because it's not under multiplayer; it's under Xbox Live. And me and Mike played 3 all the way through, I believe, all the stories and all the DLC once they made it co-op capable. Because in the beginning, when they put the DLC out, at first it wasn't. I believe 4 is just it's co-op right out of the box. All of it is going to be, even the DLCs when they come out. So we didn't realize that there was this Overwatch mode, and with that, you have one guy who's playing down low, and he can spot people. You're down on the ground. Then the other person is basically the sniper. You're up on the high ground, but you don't have binoculars, so you can't spot people. So goalie'd be down low, and he's spotting people, and you can run up and melee people, and then he can also, I think he's got the what's the pistol called, Mike? Do you remember? The well rod, which is a silenced pistol, but it's not very powerful. So he's running around doing that and spotting all the guys, and then I'm up top creating noise, because you use noise, so you go up to, if aircraft fly by or boats go by, or there's these generators that if you run up to the generators, hit a button, and you kick it and it starts backfiring. So whenever it backfires, you can use that to cover your sniper fire. So then I can start shooting people from there, and that was really enjoyable. We had a lot of fun with that. So
cool.
I'd have to say this is as far as I'm concerned, get it and play. It is a lot of fun.
And we will follow up in subsequent weeks about our co-op shenanigans.
Yes, and then which I've been playing this one all along, but I haven't really mentioned it much, but I'm really enjoying Tennis in the Face. I've been playing it for months, but I've mentioned it, a few months back, and I have been playing it throughout the time. Whenever I just want to kind of relax and chill out, just play something that's mindless if I'm like really tired or just not in the mood for playing Sniper Elite or anything like that. I pop Tennis in the Face in, which it's also on Xbox One and I believe on PC. This is from 10 Ton, which really enjoy their games.
My whole family has played this together. We finished it. So we would take me, my wife, and 2 sons. We would take turns, clearing each level.
Yeah. And what you are is you're a tennis guy. You're a guy that has a tennis racket. You're in a tennis outfit. And you have to take out, it's 2D, and you get they'll be laid out on the screen, and there's different levels. And then they'll also be like, you could have glass or wood, or, they'll have little angled pieces that you got to use angles to take the tennis ball that you hit and try to take out all these. I guess the first level is clowns. You have to take out the clowns. So you're trying to hit them all, and the key is to try to hit them. Like for me, I try to get a crown in each one, and with the crown, that means you've hit them using like 1 or 2 tennis balls. So you haven't used them all up, and you get your crown. So, and I think I'm on level 3 now, which now has lawyers, clowns, and there's a guy with a shield, so you can only hit him from the backside, or you have to hit him in the head. So, it's all angles trying to hit it with the balls. And then also sometimes you'll have cans that explode, so you gotta kind of lob them in through and have them hit and explode and then set off other stuff, and you can get chain reactions with other stuff. So it's kind of a cheesy game, but it's really enjoyable. I think it's only like $10 maybe. I'm not sure. Having the game already, I don't know how much it is, but really enjoyable. I like that. It's kind of very relaxed. It's kind of like my Peggle thing. So, and then not having used my Wii U much, I wiped the dust off, put some microfiber and cleaned off the screen, and tried ZombiU.
Wasn't that a launch title for that console?
Yes, it was. So I tried that because I've been wanting to try that for quite a while. And man, it's tough sometimes going between the PS4 controller and the Xbox One controller, but going from either one of those to the Wii U gamepad is frustrating because the controls are really wonky on it too. So
Wasn't it one of the launch titles to specifically show off how you could use the gamepad for like
you have to use the gamepad. You will get prompts on the screen, on the TV screen, that says look at your Wii U pad, and then you'll have to look at that and do whatever they're asking you to do. I really haven't gotten too far into it because I started it late, and I have not gone back because it wasn't really compelling for me. I can see how it would be an interesting game, but not being used to the controls are really hard to get used to. I think I probably need to change some of my adjustments for sensitivity also. But yeah, your inventory is on your screen. Your map is on your screen. You have to tap on the map to find out what your next objective is and whatnot like that too, and also to open stuff and look at things. So, I mean, it does use the screen, but you can get Zombie, which is ZombiU, which they've now converted. Now I think you can get it for PS4 and Xbox One.
Yeah, so ZombiU just sounds like fucking zombies going to college now.
Yeah, exactly. So I did finally try that. I've had that game for more than a year, and it's interesting, but it's not super compelling to me. And I think the majority of that is the controller issues that I'm having due to the fact that I'm not used to it.
I like that you're playing the launch title for a console that's about to be enveloped by the next generation, like within the next couple of days.
I know. But I had to I have that pre-order out, and I kind of want to look at it, and I'm like, I just feel like it would do the same thing that this Wii U is doing. So that's why I don't have a big interest in picking one up, but that may change. And I am also hoping to, that might change if I can get into a game. We haven't been able to get a time for the three of us to get in and play some Mario Kart or whatnot. So I'm hoping we can get that in some night.
Yeah, definitely.
And then more of my solitaire on my phone. So that's what I've been doing.
All right. Well, I'll try to be as quick as possible here. Battlefield 1. Playing some more of that. They just came out with their winter update with ribbons, and your classes now can be leveled up from 10 to 50. So cracked that open the other day, played some, got a bunch of ribbons and things like that. So
see you playing that with a lot of the Discord guys, right? I see you guys talking about that on Discord a lot.
I've played with Devious Mr. Matt a bunch, and then I think we've played with Bucks Sugar Free once or twice.
Ah, okay.
So, yep. And speaking of the Wii U, played some Mario Kart 8 today, but also played some Yoshi's Woolly World. I was thinking of picking up the 3DS version of this, and I was like, do I really want to play on the 3DS, or am I looking to play something on my television? And I already have the Wii U version, so played a little bit of that. It's another gorgeous-looking game on the Wii U. So kicked that around for about an hour today. You have that one, Corey?
No, I came really close to buying it, but I eventually decided against it. I don't remember if something else came out around that time. But yeah, it looks very, very charming with the art style. I love the yarn art style.
Yep. And Sniper Elite 4 we already talked about, so I don't need to talk about that again. And lastly, For Honor. So that's predominantly what I've been playing this week, and absolutely loving it. So I've done some multiplayer stuff, and I've done some multiplayer stuff with Jeremy from Dad's Getting Grounded as well. More against AI, so we've been doing these missions where it's like 5v5 against the bots, the AI, and like first team I think to like 1,000 or 1,200 points wins. I can't remember the name of the mode, if it was excursions, executions, or something along those lines, something with an E. And so played that for, I don't know, how long did we play that, Jay? Because you were in the party with us. Maybe 2 hours? 2.5 hours?
Oh, yeah. You guys were in there for quite a while.
Yeah.
Around. While I was playing it.
a bunch, and just really enjoy the different modes that this game has to offer. I was doing a lot of practicing against the AI and sort of 1v1 duels, and then went back to the more multiplayer stuff, the 4v4 Dominion with the bots and that sort of fill up the middle of the map and things like that. And but what I've been enjoying the most so far is the story. So it is broken down into 3 chapters: Knights, Samurais, and Vikings. And I just completed the first chapter, which was the Knights. And within that chapter, I believe there was 6 or 7 parts. And you get to play as the default Vanguard character, which is sort of just like a beefy knight. And then you get to play as his commander, and he just has a very large axe. I'm sure there's a bigger, more professional name for his fighting mechanism that he has there, but it's just a really long staff with an axe on it. And,
I think Beefy Knight sounds like your Netflix history.
Some knights that you play in this game, they're just, this guy seemed to have more armor. He seemed to be more larger in size. He wasn't so just, wimpy looking.
I got to say, when I was listening to them play the For Honor there, it did sound like porn in the background.
And then, so after you play as the warden and the commander, then you play as the assassin. And really what the story is, it's a decent story. It's also training you for the multiplayer. And there's a story behind there as well. And the story gets dark in some places, man. There is this lady who is in charge of the knights who I have a feeling she's going to be the person that you're going to end up fighting at the end. I just have a feeling something's going to happen in this game. But she takes, no shit. She has a blade that is almost, what's that like? I'm terrible with descriptions here, but like the animal in the ocean, he's got like the long beak that's like almost like a saw.
Like a narwhal?
No, narwhal's just got a point, right? This thing has almost got like a chainsaw almost. You know what I mean? It's like rigid on each side, like points.
Chainsaw. It's like a swimming Gears of War gun. What I don't know. What
I don't know. Anyways, she has a sword that's like that, and there was like these 2 high up commanders at one point that are like, they surrender and they're kneeling down, and she's got her back to them, and she just takes out the sword and swings around and cuts both of their heads off, like a knife through butter.
A sawfish? I think you're talking about a sawfish.
Yeah, sawfish. Yeah. Yes, thank you. So it gets dark in certain places, and the boss battle that I just went through at the end, you fight the I guess a high-ranking guy in the Viking, and you're playing as the beefy knight again. An interesting dynamic there is there's some wolves. So not only are you fighting the head dude of the Viking, but he's also got his pack of wolves that you have to fight at the same time. So that got a little tense. But I'm enjoying it. I think it's again, I really applaud Ubisoft here for this game. It is something different. You can pick up Ghost Recon, Division, and at the end of the day, it still comes back to picking up a gun and shooting things, and it's something that we've all done time and time again. Where in this game, it's different. To me, I'm not sure, would Rise was more quick-timey than this, so I'm not sure if really Rise is an appropriate comparison, but to me, it feels different, and I'm not burnt out yet, so that is the good thing. And
I know that I think it might have been people might correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think the lead designer for Honor was also one of the lead designers for Red Steel 2, which was one of like the unsung games of the Wii. I guess it was really, really good as far as gunplay and swordplay goes. So from what I heard, that team really knows their video game swordplay, which kind of explains how For Honor is being so well received as far as the swordplay goes.
Well, this guy Jason, I want to say his name is Vonderhaar. Does that seem right? Vonderhaar. He said he had this game in his mind for 15 years. He used to take German longsword classes. And so he knew how he wanted to deliver this game. It was just a question of getting someone at Ubisoft to listen to him and be willing to, greenlight him to develop a game, and he said it took him many, many years to get them to get them to give him a team to go out and build this game with. And I guess the game's been in development for 5 years.
Yeah, I heard it has been quite a while.
So I'm enjoying it and eager to see what happens with the whole seasons, and every time you go into the game and you go into multiplayer, it shows you who's capturing more of the territory, whether it's the knights or the samurais, and I'm not sure if I fully understand that yet, if I've wrapped my head around that, but it seems like the data is moving through and updating regularly. So, and there's all sorts of stuff that you can unlock, and you can buy stuff if you just load it with cash and you don't want to go through that whole process. A lot of microtransactions. There's something I don't know how I feel about. There's like a champion thing where you buy this and it gives you extra XP. People say that's also available in Battlefield, so I guess it's a norm at this point.
Yeah, kind of an unavoidable, thing as far as in the microtransaction world we live in.
Yeah, so I have a 30-day, since I bought the gold edition, I have 30 days of champion XP, and anybody who plays with me gets it as well. So I've been trying to log on every day and milk this XP. But I am really enjoying it, and I want to keep playing it, and that's the important thing. Sometimes you get these games, they're a little different, quirky, whatever, and you're like, yep, I've seen that, that's cool. Wish I didn't spend $60 on it. I don't feel that at all, so I'm happy. Let's move on to the news, shall we? Mm-hmm. Notable releases this week. I'm hoping, Corey, you have something to say in this game, or this is on your radar. Night in the Woods.
Yeah, the game that I actually supposedly have a review code coming up for that I turned down Sniper Elite for is this game, Night in the Woods. So I maybe I'll be reviewing this game. I don't know. Haven't received the code yet, so hopefully it's on its way.
And another, at least for now, a console exclusive to the PS4. It's also coming out on PC, Mac, and Linux. I'm sure at some point it might be coming to Xbox One, but for the time being, just the PS4.
Yeah, it's like a weird kind of 2D cartoonish animation, but when you watch the trailer, it looks like it's this weird, very existential game. So I don't know, it looks super interesting from the trailer, which is why I wanted to review it. But again, the PR company has not really been forthcoming with the review code, so we'll probably get the review code on day of launch. That happens once in a while.
And then another thing to note, Psychonauts in the Rhombus Ruin. This is a PSVR game.
Yeah, I guess it's supposed to link Psychonauts 1 and 2, and 2 is supposed to come, I think, in 2018.
Yep. All right, let's get into the news. We touched upon Fallout 4 just a little while ago, and Todd Howard assured us that Fallout 4 VR is going to be awesome, and he says the VAT system in particular. So if you read the article here on Glixel, he goes through the whole spiel of why Fallout is a natural game to be on VR, that it's not a twitchy shooter by any means. It's a game where you can slow down and take your time and take in the world and things of that nature. So it's going to be the whole game as well. It's not going to be a shortened or condensed version or anything like that, or just a taste or sampling. It's going to be the whole game.
How does movement work? I'm so curious as to how they do movement in VR games. If you're not sitting in a cockpit, because you can't physically walk around, obviously. You're standing up or you're sitting down with a VR headset. So are you just going to use a controller? How's it going to work?
He says, given the size of the world and the amount that you're moving in Fallout 4, that part is tricky because you're doing it a lot. Right now, we're doing the teleport warp thing, and that's fine, but we're experimenting with a few others.
I don't like that. I played a couple of demos at PAX East last year where it did the teleport ahead 6 feet, and I did not like that. I found it very disorienting.
Happy to provide you the answer, though, right after you asked it, though.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I think if any game is going to get Jay to get on the VR bandwagon, it would be Fallout 4, right?
Yes.
I haven't seen PSVR out in the wild anywhere, and today I happened to find myself in a Target, and there was one box there, one sad little box sitting there.
I'm seeing a lot more people posting on Twitter that they're seeing them in Walmart's, Best Buys, and whatnot. So they're starting to become available now, I guess.
I've looked. I haven't seen any either. Every time I go to Target, I take a peek. I'm interested, but I probably won't buy it. But yeah, I haven't seen any.
Yeah, saw one little box today. Let's see. We just talked about For Honor, but we'll go back to it. They're getting a patch which is going to buff the Valkyrie, Conqueror, and Berserker and fix guard breaks. Trying to see when this will be coming out. I would assume soon, but other things no longer get comboed if you're a Conqueror and Berserker. You no longer get comboed if their light attack is blocked. There's a bunch of other stuff in there that is sort of deep in the weeds, but I don't know what the character is that Jeremy uses. I want to say it was the Berserker. It was like a fat samurai guy, and he would pick them up and just sort of break their back.
Like Bane style? Like Bane Batman style?
Like a bear hug.
Oh, cool.
Like you'd pick them up and like you break their back that way. So it looks like maybe some of that stuff is getting nerfed as well. But for those out there with the For Honor, look for that patch soon. It's supposed to be coming out relatively soon. Watch Dogs 2 DLC is out on the 21st, which is in 2 days. It's called Human Conditions. It's the second DLC for the game. It's their biggest content addition. It's adding more than 5 hours of gameplay with 3 brand new DedSec operations and an elite co-op challenge with endless replayability for hardcore hackers.
You know, if I could go back to our question from Devious Mr. Matt, and we weren't, sequestered into only picking games that came out in 2017, Watch Dogs 2 may have been my pick, because that's a big open world. There's lots to do, and I really, really enjoyed how they set up the multiplayer, like being able to hack other people's games. So that would probably be my pick for that, for anyone who cares what a question we did like an hour ago.
I do need to get back to that one. I can't tell if this is coming first to the PS4 or if it's coming everywhere. The only story I have is from the PlayStation blog, but it could be coming everywhere. I'm not sure if it's timed exclusive DLC.
I definitely want to grab that soundbite of you just saying "coming everywhere."
Yes. PlayStation news: Resogun 4K plus HDR patch is out now. I tried it today, and I couldn't tell a difference. And I think Resogun looks great as is. So I will keep trying it to see if I notice a difference. Maybe I need to take boost off, and maybe then it will kick in. But there was nothing in the menu that said, hey, do you want to play this on a different resolution or anything? So I couldn't tell anything. But again, the game looks phenomenal as is.
Yeah, it was a gorgeous launch game.
Rocket League is getting PS4 Pro support on the 21st. So be on the lookout for that.
That's when the Hot Wheels update, I think, launches too.
Yeah,
I think on the same
new
day.
update also includes Hot Wheels premium DLC cars and additional improvements. So the update will allow Rocket League to run at both 1080p on a standard PS4 and 4K on a PS4 Pro at 60 frames per second in all arenas for single and two-player split screen modes. 3 and 4-player split screen modes will offer 60 frames per second.
Nice. 60 frames per second is very important in that game, and that's cool that they can do it for 4-player split screen.
Yeah. So I'll have to check that out on the 21st. Jay, come back to us here. We're going to be talking some Xbox news.
All right.
We talked about when we played For Honor the other night, and you were in the party with us. We talked about Xbox coming out with PC-only games, and we were sort of saying, oh, that would be sort of a mistake, wouldn't you think? Especially since, their games aren't on Steam. They got to go to the Windows 10 store. And I found this article to confirm that, because I guess Phil Spencer was on the Major Nelson podcast this week. And his quote here, I know a lot of people looked at our early PC launches and they said, hey, this does not feel like a PC game. And we know today's games will take 2 to 3 years to actually go build a good game. In the long run, Windows is incredibly important to Microsoft, and gaming is one of the most vibrant activities that happens on the Windows platform, and the Xbox team now runs gaming for Microsoft. Gaming on PC is something that we are committed to. We're going to have more things to talk about. We're going to have games only released on PC, and we're going to have games only released on console. And PC gaming is critically important to the company. Now, it's a lot to take in there, but what happened to the Play Anywhere?
Play anywhere, as in only on the PC.
I mean, in one hand, they want to tell you that all their fucking shit is going to be play anywhere, and on the other hand, he's telling you, well, we're going to have games that are only going to be on PC and games that are only on consoles.
Well, if you mark my words, if any of the modern console companies were to get rid of their consoles and start making games, elsewhere, I think Microsoft's more likely to do it than Nintendo. Everybody says Nintendo is going to become like Sega and just make, become a software developer.
I think you're 100% accurate. I could easily see the head guy at Microsoft saying, you know what, we're fucking done making consoles.
Yeah, I could see them dumping.
Hold on. They just had an announcement, was it about a week ago or so? I don't have it directly in hand right now, but they did say that was not their... Somebody asked them if that's what they were headed for, if this would be the last console.
He's trying to sell products.
Well, true, but he did state specifically that they would not go specifically. There is a future that they want to go with beyond the Scorpio.
I don't want it to. Don't get me wrong. I do not. Obviously, I'm a very console dude, so I do not want them to do that. But yeah, with announcements like this, I think they're way more likely to just drop their entire Xbox division and try to build up something, the likes of Steam.
Sure. I mean, for Sony, that's what's keeping them afloat is PlayStation. They're hurting in so many other areas that they wouldn't get rid of PlayStation because then they would be dead in the water. Where Microsoft, if let's say the Scorpio comes out and they continue to have exclusives that don't do well, if people get tired of another Gears, another Halo, and it's just not moving the numbers anymore, I mean, eventually they got to cut their losses and say, maybe we just release games and we don't release a console. We just, you're going to have a Steam box, you're going to have a Microsoft box.
I think they'd be reluctant to ever put their games on Steam for a while. I think they would eventually succumb to Steam because, Jesus, that's a juggernaut I would not want to try and take on. But I think they probably will try. Because Windows is such an established thing on PC. I don't know if anybody who has PC and not Windows. So I think they could probably try and tackle it. But, yeah, I could see that happening.
Yeah, but how many times have they tried it and failed, though? I mean, the games with Windows Live was probably the best attempt. And they just, they dropped the ball on it. If they just kept going and kind of, they keep trying to reinvigorate it, and they just, that's not the way to do it. Just put it out there and have it, move along just like it does with the console. We get new,
Well, they want to keep it under their umbrella. They don't want to bring it to Steam.
Oh, you didn't like playing Quantum Broken on the computer?
I don't know. Like I said, to get back to that article, on one hand, they say they're going to have games that only exist on certain platforms, but then they want to tell you a whole E3 briefing about Play Anywhere. So, I think what he's trying to say is that there's games that lend themselves to consoles only and games that lend themselves to PC only.
Oh, that's not good news for anyone who likes Halo Wars.
Did that come out?
Halo Wars 2? I honestly, I don't know.
Sarcasm, Corey. An RTS is tough on a console, right? Doesn't really lend itself all that much.
Right, yeah. So if you're talking about games that lend themselves this way or that would be a prime candidate.
And that will be on both. So I'm not sure if it's a Play Anywhere or whatever the hell they call it, but they are releasing on both. So
they're going to clear this all up for us on June 11th at 2 p.m. Pacific time, 5 p.m. in the East.
You promise?
Yeah, I am promising this.
Because they've been clear as mud lately, so.
The E3 2017 Xbox press conference, again, is June 11th. It's a Sunday afternoon, 2 p.m. on the West Coast, 5 p.m. on the East Coast. So traditionally, Microsoft would begin their E3 press conference on the Monday, followed by EA and Ubisoft all in one day, and then Sony closes it out at night. They are breaking from that tradition, and they are going on the Sunday, sort of like Bethesda did a few years ago, right?
And giving you a night to think about it.
Yep. So,
you think there's going to be a Scalebound announcement?
No, what they're going to have, they're going to have Sea of Thieves. Is that out before then? I don't even know.
No, I don't think so. I'm still very interested in that.
I am not. I've stated my case. I'm not going to go down there that road.
Yeah, that's another one that's a multiplayer thing, so we'll see how well that goes.
Crackdown 3 and to hang your hat on Crackdown 3 and State of Decay 2, They got to have something else up their sleeve, man. And if it's Halo 6, does that move the needle?
Not this early. I'd be surprised to see another Halo sequel this early. If anything, I'd expect to see another Halo offshoot like ODST or something like that without a numbered sequel.
And I'd be interested if they announce something like that. Definitely not the Halo Wars, but an actual Halo first person or third person shooter, whatever you want to call it.
I mean, they are getting their asses kicked right now with PlayStation exclusives.
Oh, they really are. I mean, all the announced games that they put out that people got interested in, Recore ended up being like it wasn't a triple A or I don't.
It's a fine game, but it plays more like a PS3 360 game.
Yeah. I mean that garnered a lot of attention. 2 other ones they've canceled.
Yeah, it's like I made a joke about Scalebound earlier, but it really is a shame what happened to Scalebound.
Yeah.
That would have been beneficial for so many people, like studios and Microsoft.
I heard people shit talking on the internet the other day. I couldn't find the source of it, but some people. This is someone who was working on Scalebound tweeted out something, and again, I couldn't find the original start of the thread, but it was something along the lines of someone was saying that Scalebound now is going to come to the Switch.
Yeah, bullshit. I don't buy that.
Some form. And some Xbox fanboy said to the guy, if I see you at E3, I'm going to fucking gut you, I'm going to stab you, I'm going to rape you in the ass. He was saying all this derogatory shit on him on Twitter, and then the guy from, Platinum Games.
Is he a president?
The guy from Platinum Games was like, look what this guy's saying, all this stuff, but there was something along those lines, like it was going to come to the Switch.
Now I wanted to, just to really upset that douchebag.
I'll have to find that. That guy was going off the deep
fucking
end.
tool.
Buy another console, buddy. Holy shit. Get a disposable income.
So again, Sunday, June 11th, get all your Scorpio details. And I keep seeing these things from Microsoft. 2017 is going to be a great year for Xbox. Well, someone needs to alert them that it's almost fucking March. 1/5 of the year is almost over.
It's early.
Yeah. And the last bit of news here, Ryan McCaffrey said this ruined his childhood. I think that's a bold statement. Not sure how that could be the case, but Zelda Breath of the Wild is getting DLC and a season's pass.
I think that's another sign that Nintendo is getting with the fucking, modern way of games. Like, I expect season passes from a lot of games now. I also don't expect Nintendo to strip away a bunch of things and then try to resell it later, like a lot of people claim DLC to be. I just think it's a way that, DLC is typically intended to get consumers to keep their discs in the consoles and not in the bargain bin back at GameStop. So, I get season passes. They don't upset me anymore as a consumer. So, I expect this from any modern game. I actually think this is a good sign for Nintendo. Now, if I buy Breath of the Wild and it's like, you have 3 hearts, would you like to buy 5 more? Yes, then I'll be pissed off. But I don't think that's going to be the case.
It says here, starting when the game launches on March 3rd, players will be able to purchase an expansion pass for $19.99, granting access to 2 new sets of downloadable content for the game when they become available later this year. Immediately upon pre-purchase or purchase of the pass, 3 new treasure chests will appear in the game's Great Plateau area. One of these chests will contain a shirt with the Nintendo Switch logo that Link can wear during his adventure, exclusive to the expansion pass. The other 2 will deliver useful items. The first pack is scheduled to launch this summer and will include the addition of a Cave of Trials challenge, a new hard mode, and a new feature for the in-game map. The second content pack will launch in holiday 2017 and adds new challenges that will let players enjoy a new dungeon and a new original story. The pass will be available for both the Nintendo Switch and the Wii U.
It's not like that. Yeah, see, I mean, they just said, helpful items. They're not saying, because Zelda's all about the gameplay and the new items you can get, the hook and, the air shot and stuff like that. It's not like that's going to be DLC.
And they said at the very end here, content packs cannot be purchased individually.
So you have to buy a season pass. You couldn't buy the packs individually, huh?
Yep.
Can I wait to the Game of the Year edition?
Yeah, there probably will be one.
$19.99 is pretty reasonable, right? I think some of the best DLC I ever bought in my life is the DLC for Mario Kart 8.
Yes,
It was very reasonable priced. I want to say altogether it was like $14.99.
That tracks and stuff?
All new
Tracks and karts?
8 new tracks, bunch of new karts.
Yeah, there's like all the Zelda stuff where all the coins are now rupees and stuff like that. It looks really cool.
Yep, and all that stuff comes packed in with the one on the Switch. I read that today. But that's all the news I got for this week, fellas. That was a lot to discuss.
Well, the good thing about that last news story is it's made me want to play Mario Kart now.
Oh, boy. All right. Let's wrap this up. Jay, you have any plugs, shout-outs?
I don't.
All right. Corey, how about yourself?
I'll plug our Discord channel because unlike in previous episodes where I like bullshitted that I would go there and talk to people, I'm actually on the Discord channel now talking to people. I got totally called out for being a bullshitter. So we go there now. We set up games. A lot of times you guys are playing like Battlefield 1 and stuff, but I don't have that. But if anybody wants to play Mario Kart with us, I'm totally down to play Mario Kart 8.
Yeah, we had to do a friend invite on the Wii U, and then we chatted via Skype on our phones.
So
Nice.
And I will say this, just not to bust in on your plug, is that I work a 1 to 10 shift from home, and oftentimes I am getting beat up. And some of these guys in our private Twitter chat hear some of the things that people say to me, or I vent occasionally. And so what I'm trying to get at is from 1 to 10, sometimes I'm feeling down, and the Discord chat brings me up because I hear people chatting and talking, and it takes my mind off people swearing at me and telling me they're going to kill me and find me and all this stuff. So I greatly appreciate the Discord conversations.
Yeah, so check us out on Discord. As far as personal plugs go, you can follow me on Twitter at Catwood. Follow Bago Games on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. We're starting to ramp up the giveaways, and we're doing giveaways now to anyone who gets on the subscription list. We do giveaways once a month. We have tons of codes.
Oh, you said cunt.
Yeah, I did. That was totally slipped out. But
Really? You
yes.
can win one?
We have tons of cunts we're giving away. I don't know.
Are they tight?
Oh, Jay.
As a drum, sir. As a drum.
Do you have to brush and plow?
All right, I'm done. I'm done with this part of the segment. As far as other plugs go, I have a review for 8 Days that went up if you're interested in checking out 8 Days, and possibly a review for Night in the Woods if I get that review code. And keep a lookout for our PAX East coverage because there will probably be a shitload of it at bagogames.com. And that's probably it for me. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say cunt.
All right. Jay, I'm going to circle back to you. Sure you have no shout-outs or plugs or anything?
I'm going to shout out to Corey for finally getting on Discord, and for all of the others that are joining us on Discord and communicating with us, because it is nice to get in there. And also, if you want to play some co-op or multiplayer games with us, or just discuss some games with us, jump in there and put the typing fingers to work, and maybe we can set up some game nights to play. I think what nights is a good night, Mike, that would possibly work for you that you're not working?
Tuesday through Saturday after 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Sunday night I podcast with you. Monday night I rehearse with my band. So Tuesday through Saturday after 10 p.m. I am available.
Eastern Time. So,
Eastern Time.
Yeah, so let us know if there's anything that you're interested in. We have there is already chat going on with that within, I believe, in the game night thread in Discord. So join us in there, and I want to thank everybody that does listening, and the other podcasts that plug us and also keep us entertained while we're doing our things. Maybe working or driving. We appreciate all of them too. So thank you very much.
Let's give some shout-outs again to the Discord people, Mafia Thug and his wife, Latina Mafia, and the people that they've brought over. We heard from Jay Fresh, was it 3 or Jay Fresh 4 tonight in one of the answers. And then there's also another new person, DRP 2309S, that's on there, and he shared some of his For Honor killings tonight. So shout out to those guys for joining on Discord, and to all the listeners. The last handful of shows, the numbers have really gone up. So thanks to everybody for listening and sharing. And hopefully you've enjoyed this one. And any questions, complaints, get at us at Twitter at GamersInBeta, or you can email us gamersinbeta@gmail.com. Until then, Jay, do us the honors.
Same beta time, same beta channel, and maybe we'll know whether to call him Mr. Grail or Mr. Gray 2 next week's podcast.
I bet you wish that I was dead, lying in the gutter with a toss on my head. Don't tell me I love me when you really don't care. Spread your lies, baby, everywhere. When you see me coming, don't act surprised, 'cause I'm not gonna crawl away and die. Don't tell me you love me when you really don't care. Don't tell me that I'm going to hell. I've already been well. You wish that I was dead, lying in the gutter with a toss on my head. Don't tell me you love me when you really don't care. Spread your lies, baby, everywhere. When you see me coming, don't act surprised, 'cause I'm not gonna go away and die. Don't tell me you love me when you really don't care. Don't tell me that I'm going to hell. I've already been you wish that I was dead, lying in the gutter with a toss on my head. Don't tell me you love me when you really don't care. Spend your lies, baby, everywhere. When you see me coming, don't act surprised, 'cause I'm not gonna crawl away and die. Don't tell me you love me when you really don't care. Don't tell me that I'm going to hell. I'm already been
Well, I had these horrendous farts. I mean, clear out the fucking house. And then the following day, yeah, I was just like, I felt horrible all day. My stomach was fucking just like fucking Dumb and Dumber sitting on that fucking toilet, you know. Blah, blah.